What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Boozer here. Thanks for stopping by. Today's video, we have the Titan event active, and we will go over it here, talk about what's involved in trying to complete this and try to get the rewards in the Titan event. So let's take a quick look at what's happening right now. So we have this brand new Tea Party Titan event. We did have a little bit of a preview video yesterday where I suspected that it's potentially possible that Plarium kind of gives us the big screw job and puts the relic beyond the 5-star soul, which would be pretty nasty. But in this case, they did not. They put the soul at the top at 1500 and then the relic at 1000. Now, this is a nice little surprise that, I kind of expected, like, in my heart, but I was definitely having a small bit of concern that they would put this beyond the 1500. So here it is very reasonable at the 1000 under the 5-star blessing here. So obviously, if you have the Mad Hatter getting the 5-star blessing is going to be a huge power boost for him. It does give him 75 accuracy at the 5-star level, and it does make him a little bit easier to build. But it doesn't necessarily mean you must go for this. Just because he is a support character, he's not going to benefit as much as like a damage dealer, for example, I think. So if you are, kind of on the fence about it or low on resources, it might be considering, it might be worth considering a skip. However, I would highly suggest this Cat's Gaze. Cat's Gaze is a massive, massive relic. It gives you 10% ignore defense right off the bat without doing anything to it. And you can upgrade it all the way up to 20% ignore defense. Keep in mind that the instinct set at 4 pieces gives you 20% ignore defense. So it basically makes up for a 4-piece set in some cases. So it's a very, very insane relic, and basically works on almost any damage dealer you put this on. So definitely a very massive prize there if you guys can go for that 1000 points. We're also looking at a pretty cool frame here. Like, to be honest, I'm not a big fan of like cosmetics and they don't really do anything for me, but this is a pretty nice frame. It looks clean. I like the red color. It's a little bit different, stands out. We got the Hatter's Reserve at 300. I mean, this relic is kind of not that great. So far, I think I put it on like a HP based damage dealer just for a little bit of a power boost. But honestly, it's not huge. At 300 points, I mean, it's super reasonable though compared to where it would be in other areas of the game trying to get it. Keep in mind that all of them are guaranteed, which is great. It's not just materials, they're all just guaranteed. So that's really nice to see. But overall, I think, yeah, so far the 1000 for the Cat's Gaze, and then Mad Hatter one. And then the 5-star at 1500 is very, very reasonable, considering that could have been much worse. Just taking a quick look at some past Titan event reward structures here. It looks like the current Titan event reward structure is pretty much in line with the previous ones, dating back to like Arman's or earlier last year, so about a year ago. The big thing that we're kind of not seeing in this one is that we're maybe missing like a Mortal Soul Stone. But that's about it. I mean, the Void Shard is there, the Immortal Soul Stone is there, the Legendary Tome is there, the Mythical Book is there, and the Primal Shard is there at about the appropriate price point. So it's not too crazy. No surprises, I mean. A little bit of a negative is that in the current Titan event, we have this 3-hour free gear removal, which basically replaces a bunch of the medium oils from the Sand Devil. I think this is probably a negative because you can pick these up in other areas of the game. But overall, I mean, we have all the main rewards here, and they're not crazily overpriced or any crazy surprises. So this is a win for sure. All right, guys, so let's check out some of the news and what Plarium has to say about all this. So we got the Tea Party going on. It's going to be happening from the 24th, Tuesday, to February 11th. Don't miss this chance to get your hands on some of these rewards. It's about a 2-week-long event. And then they say you have to get the special Tea Party Titan event label, get the teacups. So make sure you guys are aware that each event is labeled correctly. Gems and shards and regular events and tournaments. The more teacup points you earn as rewards from events and tournaments, the more milestone rewards you can get in the Tea Party Titan event, the TPTE. Throughout the course of the Tea Party Titan event, you'll earn up to 900 teacup points during the first part. So the first week you get 900, and then the second week you get 850. Okay, you can earn up to a maximum 1750. Okay, that's key. And then we need 1500. So we can basically omit ourselves from 250 of these teacup points. This is pretty standard from all the Titan events. What we don't know is whether there's going to be a free Titan event. So basically what has happened in the past is that they give out some kind of like catch-up event, or it's more like a fusion warm-up or something. And it's basically very easy tournament where they give you some easy Titan point to go. And usually it's at the end. So right now we don't know for sure if that's going to be included at all. Okay, and the first week of events is already given to us in the Plarium Play calendar. So if you guys are interested, make sure you guys take a look. We also can kind of deduce where all the points are going to land right now. So currently we have the Spider Turn Attack that's open right now. We see 40 teacup points in that event. So we know that the current Spider Turn Attack has 40 points in it. That means the other turn attack are probably going to have 40 points. So the Ice Golem that's coming up also probably has 40 points, as well as the Dragon turn attack coming up as well this week. Let's bring your attention to this last event here. We do have a Spider event, Spider tournament with special rules. This is something that's coming at the end of the week, so something to maybe look out for. It looks like it's going to be you could be limited. Okay, so they don't really give you too much info, but you say you could be limited by rarity, faction, or alliance. So it's going to be some kind of special condition Spider tournament. That's kind of interesting because they have a Spider turn attack right now, and then they're going to throw in another Spider event. It's kind of, I guess that's going to be the next week though. I would imagine that's going to be worth more points than 40. We see here the arena tournament is going to be a standard 30 teacup points. This is in line with other Titan events. So yeah, we got 40 points from the turn attacks, which is, I think, a little bit low. Usually they're about 50. If you have special condition tournaments, like I've seen it go up to as high as 80 points. So we just gotta be careful about that. The champion chase here looks like there's only 200 points here. So if you guys are really in tough right now in terms of resources, you guys can full skip this champion chase, losing the 200 points and still be able to complete the entire Titan event. That just means you can't skip any more points, or you can only skip 50 points at the end. Keep in mind that there is a 2x ancient boost right now, and that's really good for chase points, right? Because you get double chance on epic, 16%, and 1% on legendary. So it's a really good event for ancient shards. Generally chase is a little bit easier to complete because ancient shards are a little bit easier to have, and then you can also get other champions from other areas to get some extra points. Looks like people are pretty pretty excited about trying to win the cat. So 12,000 here. I don't know if this guy's going to be, maybe it's a pretty good start so far. In terms of overall rewards, 7.5k for the mythical book I think is probably okay. 5.5k for this is a bit of a scam because in the first champion chase this was 100. So now they're giving us 75. What a freaking scam this is. But they're giving us 75 for 5,500. Keep in mind that 5,500 with ancient shards is a lot easier than the previous champion chase where it was 2x sacred shards. So 2x ancient shards, each ancient is worth about 50 points. So this is 110 ancient shards or so to get this 75. Not even one full craft, but you can get this. So it is what it is. I mean, yeah, it's not great. It's not great, but it's a 2x ancient. People, it's a good event for people if they need champs and all that stuff. But yeah, it's such a scam. They went from 100 to 75 already. Going back to the calendar real quick here, we do see some crazy stuff happening. We got a Deck of Fate coming up in a couple of days. Right after the weekend. And we actually have the Summon Rush already put into the calendar in the future. No special any words or anything like that, but yeah, definitely something to pay attention to. The Deck of Fate will be interesting because it obviously has points in it, and this could end a lot of people's Titan events. So this is something that people need to be very, very aware of. If you skip the champion chase right now, if you skip any points right now, this Deck of Fate will probably end your Titan event unless you can clear the Deck of Fate. So I highly recommend you guys do as much points as you can, because Deck of Fates are very much you know, they're big gambles, right? Because you don't know what you're going to get out of them unless you can clear the whole thing. So if you can't clear the whole deck of fate, you know you don't have resources to do so, you're probably gonna, you have to assume that you can't get any of these Titan points, because trying to get them is just, you know, it's going to be totally random, right? Like you just can't bank on these points coming in. And this advice is the same for people trying to go for like champions and stuff like that too. It's the same. If you can't get the whole, you know, all the pieces for the champion from a deck of fate, like there's kind of no point going for it, because then you're just gonna be left with like pieces of a champion at the end if you can't finish it. Obviously like mauled fragments and stuff, but that's so little value. Like I don't know. But yeah, so you have a deck of fate here. It potentially could be a champion. There's no real, you know, kind of assurance that it is a champion, because the Alice adventure is going to be ongoing for a couple months. I don't think they're going to play their best cards so early. So I don't think this deck of fate will be like a guaranteed knave of hearts or anything like that. I think they're going to save like the guaranteed champions to the end, just to keep people a little bit, you know, high strung and, you know, high strung and probably strung out in terms of resources. And then they'll drop the hammer with the guaranteed champions, where people will start spending because they're so low on resources later on in this Alice event. That's just my thinking. But anyways, we do have a Queen's Fury tournament that also has the points as well in them. All right, and I just did a quick little point estimate here based on my best guess. So currently we know that the champion chase is worth 200. We know the turn attack tournaments are going to be worth 40. Classic arena is going to be worth 30. So there's no surprises there. What we don't know will be the Queen's Fury and also the special spider conditions tournament. So I assume the conditions tournament is going to be 60, and then the Fury, Queen's Fury will be 60 as well. It just kind of works out in terms of the math. The remaining points, now I spread it out 300 for a deck of fate and 100 for a dungeon diver. It could easily be 250 for the deck of fate and 150 for dungeon diver. That also makes sense. And I mean, that's Plarium giving us a little bit of a bone. But if they do a full 300 in the deck of fate, that's really, really tough, because it basically forces people to try to grab at least 50 from the deck of fate. And like I said, with the deck of fate, you cannot bank on any of the points coming in unless you can clear the whole thing. So it's really going to be tough for some people. And I know some people out there will probably fail this entire Titan event because they didn't get enough points from this deck of fate. Now, my best guess on the deck of fate conditions or the requirements will be artifact enhancement and champion training. Look at the calendar, guys. Look at the calendar. There's no champion training happening in this week, and there's no artifact enhancement event happening this week that, you know, that basically has, you know, that can give us Titan points. So in my opinion, the deck of fate would be champion training and artifact enhancement. Now, this is a weird combination, but it can be good. And this also leads me to believe that it's probably not going to be a champion. It's probably not going to be a guaranteed champion. So in my opinion, it's probably going to be relics, maybe relic material. There could also be a third component to the deck of fate. My thinking, it could be soul stones. We haven't seen anything related to soul stones in a little bit. So it definitely could be soul stone related. Maybe that's a third condition for the deck of fate. But yeah, I would very confidently say it's training and artifact enhancement just based on the calendar here. But also, I did not factor in this summon rush that's peeking out here. I don't know if this is included in the first week. If it's included in the first week, then some of these point totals don't really make too much sense, because usually in the summon rush, you can expect at least 200. So there's not enough points to allocate to the summon rush here. So I would assume that this summon rush would be part of the second week of events point totals as opposed to the first. So with that being said, if this deck of fate is 250 and then this dungeon diver is 150, then people can still skip the deck of fate and still complete the Titan event without having to jump in, especially if you're low on resources. Like I said, you can't bank on the points, right? But if it's 300, then now this puts people in a tough position where you have to jump in and try to get the points and then try to get out. It's a very tough spot. But if it's training and artifact enhancement, then maybe it's a little bit easier too for people. All right, so that's going to be my kind of analysis on the Tea Party Titan event. Personally, I think the rewards are 100% worth it. This Cat's Gaze, like I said in the beginning, is an insane relic. It's a big power boost. It's basically equivalent to a four piece instinct set. In some ways you get the 20% ignore defense once it's fully maxed out. Yeah, that's a lot. It's a lot, and it's not easy to find the ignore defense to add it on top of your best damage dealers, right? And then we actually don't really lose too many of the rewards. The rewards are all here. They're not diluted too much. So it's actually a good thing. So no real negative surprises here in terms of the reward structure. Like I said, I don't like the 3-hour free gear removal, replacing some of the actual resources. But hey, this could be worth a couple million silver for somebody if they use it correctly. The ancient shard is actually moved down a little bit, so actually it's actually easier for newer players just to pick up an easy ancient shard here. But like I said, guys, if you guys got the resources, definitely go for it. If you want to skip the Mad Hatter, by all means, but given that if you make it to the Cat's Gaze at 1000, this last page of rewards is pretty juicy. You got the Mythical Tome, you got the Primal Shard, of course. Even this 3-star rank 3 Bust Salt is pretty good because you can start working on your Cat's Gaze right away. So yeah, I think it's pretty good. It's going to keep us busy for the next 2.5 weeks or so. Hopefully you guys are able to navigate it. It does require a lot of resources. It's basically a fusion, of course. But yeah, let's get it, guys. Okay, thanks a lot for watching. Appreciate your time as always. Let me know in the comments below what you guys are planning to do with this Titan event. Like I said, it's definitely worth going for. The Cat's Gaze should be the main prize here. If you have Mad Hatter and you want to juice them up, 5-star Mad Hatter is pretty good, right? You get some accuracy boost and all that makes them easier to build. So definitely a very high value Titan event. But let me know in the comments below what you guys are planning to do. I would like to hear from you guys. Otherwise, have a great day. Appreciate your time as always. Have a great start to your weekend and all that. And I'll see you guys in the next video.